Tangaza University College invites you to a Theological Symposium which will be held on 22nd to 23rd February 2024, starting from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m.
We are going to talk about the missionary mandate of Christ. You might recall that Jesus, before he ascended into heaven, he told the 12, go all over the world, teach, baptize, make disciples of all nations.
We as the students who have been prepared to become a priest in the future, we are supposed to attend this symposium to see and to listen to the church, our mother church, the view of the world and the view of the Church of Africa, so that we can become a good priest and a future priest.
You heard about the Shakahola tragedy where many people lost their lives, and the church has to respond. How to evangelize when our people are drawn by cultic groups and some of them even losing their life? We are going to listen to great speakers. The most important speaker is His Eminence Cardinal Robert Sarah from West Africa. He has been the prefect on the Congregation for Divine Worship and the Discipline of the Sacraments for 6 years. We will also listen to other speakers. Archbishop Muhatia Makumba of Kisumu Diocese, Archbishop from Nairobi, Philip Anyolo, Professor Father Majava, who was the Dean of the School of Theology in University of the Catholic University. You will hear Speaker Mary Mukami from Strathmore and many others.
You are supposed to be in this symposium so that we think with the church together as an African and also as the whole world. You are welcome. Thank you.
This event will be live here on Capuchin TV and on our social media platforms. Keep watching Capuchin TV, your Catholic identity channel. Tangaza University College invites you to a Theological Symposium which will be held on 22nd to 23rd February 2024, starting from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m.
We are going to talk about the missionary mandate of Christ. You might recall that Jesus, before he ascended into heaven, he told the 12, go all over the world, teach, baptize, make disciples of all nations.
We as the students who have been prepared to become a priest in the future, we are supposed to attend this symposium to see and to listen to the church, our mother church, the view of the world and the view of the Church of Africa, so that we can become a good priest and a future priest.
You heard about the Shakahola tragedy where many people lost their lives, and the church has to respond. How to evangelize when our people are drawn by cultic groups and some of them even losing their life? We are going to listen to great speakers. The most important speaker is His Eminence Cardinal Robert Sarah.
And welcome. You are right on time for this special edition on the upcoming Theological Symposium organized by the Tangaza University College. Now, this is brought to you by Capuchin Television in collaboration with LifeSite News. And as we gear up for this enlightening two-day Theological Symposium slated to take place on Thursday, 22nd of February, and Friday, 23rd of February consecutively, that it is quite prudent for us to take you through what you should expect during this symposium. Now, in studio today, I'm not alone. I have people who are expert in this, in theology, and of course, those who are interested or have got some interest vested in this. And I am honored to have Reverend Father George Kocholiko, the head of dogmatic department at Tangaza University College. Thank you for making time for this, Father.
Right, thank you. Thank you for welcoming to this session.
Great. And then you have Sister Mary Joanne. Is it Uwinefu? How do you pronounce that? Iwenofu. How do you pronounce that in Nigerian accent?
Yeah, Iwenofu.
Iwenofu.
Meaning, let your annoyance be enough.
Wow. Great, that's interesting. And then we have Nairuki here, Tobias. Welcome and good afternoon.
Thank you so much for the welcome. Thank you.
Great. So Nauruki is the coordinator, the African regional coordinator of LifeSite News. So thank you all, the three of you, for being here. So briefly, in a few seconds, just tell our viewer what you do or which area you concentrate on before we can start our discourse. And I'll start with Father.
Okay. I concentrate in dogmatic theology. I teach Christology and used to teach ecclesiology. And that is my specialization. And I teach at Tangaza University College, also at the major seminary at St. Thomas. I have been part of the faculty of Tangaza College from 1990. Can count the years. So though I look young, I'm not that young.
34. A hefty 34 years.
Yes,
wow.
I started.
What is the secret behind? Well, we'll take that offline. Sister, could you please tell us what you do?
Yes, I'm a lecturer in Tangaza University College. I'm a missiologist, and I'm in charge of mission studies in Tangaza. So I teach missiology, then African theology, and mission anthropology. So I've been in Tangaza for the past 3 years. Yeah, but this is not my first time in Kenya. Of course, I'm a Nigerian, and I came to Kenya in 1981. So this is my second missionary journey in Kenya.
Great. Yeah. So it's not so new, the landscape. You've experienced this before.
No.
Great. Welcome. And I understand that it's your first time in our studios. We are really great to host you today.
Yes. Thank you.
Great. And you have a gentleman here representing the youth. Now, Roki, tell us, what does your role entail as the African Regional Coordinator of LifeSite News?
Thank you so much. First of all, it is an honor to sit with the well-experienced people like Father and Sister. Father talking about 1990. I don't know if I was born by that time. And Sister 1981. This is an honor and blessings to have them here. With regards to LifeSite News, LifeSite News is was founded a long time ago, and its mission in the Catholic space is to evangelize and bring truth and light to the many Catholics and the Christians who are looking for information to be able to learn, and also to get further guidance in different aspects, especially on our faith, culture, protection of life and family. As a coordinator in the continent, our focus is to support the different programs, different dioceses, the Christians, the young people are doing. And that's why the upcoming event, the upcoming symposium in Tangaza University is of great interest, especially with the presence of Cardinal Sarah, of which now Father is going to discuss further. But and that's why we're here.
Great, and I would be quite interested to see the interplay between the LifeSite News and the Theological Symposium. That would be quite interesting to know. And I am Asasha Elizabeth. I will be your captain, just guiding through this conversation. Feel free to weigh in the conversation as usual on our social media platforms on Facebook and YouTube. Our contact number is 0717-424-866. You can as well drop your SMS in our toll-free line that is on your screen. So welcome. Fasten your seatbelt, dear viewer, and let us sail into the depths of this conversation this afternoon. So welcome again, Father, Sister, and Mr. Great, thank you for that. So we start by understanding the overview of the Theological Symposium 2024. What is it exactly about, and what significance does it bring to the community around and beyond, Father?
Yes, it is all about the missionary mandate of Christ. You know, the last thing that Jesus did on this earth before ascending into heaven was give a task to his apostles. Go all over the world, teach, preach, baptize, make disciples of all nations, and I will be with you until the end of the world. And we are here just because people from generation to generation took up that challenge. And we are here as a church and the Capuchin TV and live site simply because of the faithfulness of those people and thousands of others throughout the history. So at Tangaza College, we want to an extent enkindle much more strength and first more than missionary mandate. We have over 600 students of theology and philosophy. They are all preparing for ministries in the church, meaning they are preparing to undertake this missionary mandate of Christ. And it is not easy because we are also facing a crisis. So we thought of as a department to invite Cardinal Robert Saram, a great mind, a great prophet, I would say, of our times, a son of Africa, someone who loves Africa. I came to know him through reading. I had never met him personally. I came to him reading. I probably read all of his works, and I saw, or my spirit told me, this is a man who must speak to our generation today.
Absolutely. This would be your first physical encounter with him.
Right. Yes.
Oh, great.
I wait for that day to see him first at the airport.
And for most of us, I believe. Oh, great. So, what significance would you say, Sister, is this kind of forum?
Yeah, the forum, especially this symposium, is so important to us, especially we, the women religious, because just as what Father said, we are all sent, we are all called, we are all invited to carry out this great task, go and make all peoples, all nations, disciples of Christ. So for women religious, they have really contributed a lot. And even in the church, they are well recognized. And since the gift of the vocation of women religious is a gift from God.
Sure. So,
Father inviting us through their department, inviting the women religious is a welcome idea. Because the women religious will also be there on the 2 days given to gain a lot from this symposium. So it's a very important event for every one of us. Of course, even in the university, we also have women religious, we have the religious. So they learn together with the seminarians. So we cannot just keep them aside. So we are happy to be part of this symposium.
Thank you, Sister, for that. And of course, as she says, there are different groups who are expected to be part or to participate in this theological symposium. And of course, you can never tell for sure completely the kind of benefits that are imminent unless you get to attend and interact with the speakers and the presenters. Nauruki, what can the youth particularly bring on board on this day, and what do they stand to reap? What do you look forward as a youth who will be attending this theological symposium?
Thank you so much for that question. As Father said, in the today's circumstance, today's generation need to be guided. The church has given a platform for the young people to learn, and the only way for the youth to be able to get to interact with the religious leaders in our church today is through the forum, a symposium which is discussing serious pertinent issues that the young people don't know. It is a platform to give the young people also a way to be able to soul search themselves, because when you follow back the generation father was in and sister to date, you will find that we are losing the young people today whom we would have had them in different vocations, especially serving the church, but because they didn't have someone to talk to, they didn't have someone to speak about the issues they're going through, so that they may be able to come back and realize, look, this is the direction we need to go. Having people like Cardinal Sarah coming to speak about how important it is in the church today to follow the right path and accept the call that Jesus left us to call in the whole world the many disciples to follow him and serve the church. It is the right time for us, the young people, especially I and the many young people out there, to come and say, this is a time to learn, this is a time to challenge ourselves and come back to Jesus and follow the right path towards salvation.
For that in-depth explanation on what we expect and why the youth should attend in good numbers this theological symposium. Now, let's try to understand the theme. I understand every symposium, every such kind of gathering has always have a theme or a central message that guides all the discourses. And I can see here in bold, white and red, make disciples of all nations, of which Father, you've mentioned, and Sister as well, the missionary mandate of Christ in the religious, cultural, and social context of Africa today. What really fueled the choice of this theme, Father?
What fueled Tangaza College? First, Tangaza has an identity as a missionary institute founded by the mission founding communities like Combonis, Consolata, Salesians. These were the first pioneers of Tangaza College, and their interest was to form their future students. So that missionary dimension of Tangaza should be kept alive. So we wanted to keep it alive from the dogmatic department, from the dogmatic perspective. Then secondly, you see, mission today is also in crisis. Though at Tangaza there are many students who are very much committed to missionary work, apostolate, ministry, and also lecturers supporting them, but we also see false ideologies and thoughts making an inroad into the minds of people. And these false ideologies, thinking, has already corrupted or destroyed to a great extent mission and enthusiasm mission in other parts of the world. I am thinking about, for example, the most very popular opinion that all are going to be saved. Doesn't matter what you believe, which religion you are, just like all the rivers run to the same sea, all religions lead you to the same God, so don't worry. Then the concept of theologians like Karl Rahner, anonymous Christians, all are Christians, but anonymously doesn't matter, they are all are going to be saved. This thinking that grace is all everywhere, and so it is available to everyone, and everybody receives it, irrespective of a person makes a choice or not. And that is widespread today, and it was widespread because of theologians coming from everywhere, from Asia, from Europe, from the States. I have read them, and I know this is these are the theologians who caused this problem. Thirdly, another reality is also in Africa, we are very much conscious about the culture of the people, and inculturation is a very popular thought, and there is a positive part that cultures should play, and inculturation as a part of that is indispensable. But also there is a dangerous side on this, that you put culture above the gospel. The real ordering is gospel, then comes the culture. But you reverse the order, then you have a problem. And we have theologians who are reversing the order. So when you have to choose between culture and gospel, they will choose the culture and forget about the gospel. And this is a very dangerous mindset. The church has tried through its various teachings to correct it, but these errors seems to be not going away. So I thought if we have prominent persons who love faith, who love the church, speak to them. They are really the leaders of the spiritual Africa these days. I'm thinking about Cardinal Sarah, thinking about Archbishop Makumba and Agnolo and the theologians like Father Majava, etc. So they can help these minds to orient themselves so that they would continue to do what Jesus asked us to do, to preach the gospel of Christ.
Thank you, Father George. Now, briefly before I allow Sister and Mr. to contribute to the conversation, you mentioned that it is important to bring on board these people, the speakers, the presenters, somehow to help people try and understand how best to go about religion, culture, and social context. Now, among the notable speakers, you've already mentioned His Eminence Robert Cardinal Sarah. Who are these other key or notable speakers who we should expect they will grace this occasion, and what expertise do they bring on board?
Yes, another person is the Archbishop of Kisumu, Archbishop Maurice Makumba Muhatia. He is a philosopher per se, but he has a doctorate in philosophy. He studied Edith Stein, if you know that martyr of phenomenology, philosophy. And he has been teaching philosophy, now he's Archbishop, but he's capable of helping our people to think even philosophically into the questions that are arising. He's also the current vice chair of the Kenya Conference of Catholic Bishops. So he has a wide experience also in the MICROFINANCE countries. So we have asked him to speak about the question of evangelization in MICROFINANCE countries. What is the situation? What are the opportunities? What are the threats? What are the possibilities for the future? And I think he will speak from a wide experience that he has, as well as his academic training as a philosopher.
So then we've got, I can see from the poster, we also have His Grace Philip Subira Nyolo, who will be the host, right?
Yes, he's a host. He will be the first one to open the symposium openly. And he's Archbishop of Nairobi. He has been a pastor all through. And he would welcome everyone, and he will introduce the theme of the symposium to the community.
Great.
Then we have Professor Majava. Professor Majava is from the Catholic University of Eastern Africa. If you have followed him, you know he has studied a lot about witchcraft, occultism, cult, and this is a problem because for many people it is hard to distinguish true religion from false religiosities. And they can be deceived so easily, as we saw in the Shakahola tragedy.
Exactly, and we'll be looking into that in a short while. But first, Sister, what do you think about these subjects of area of discussions that Father has highlighted, which will be focused on during this theological symposium? Do you think there's something else, any area you would wish them to address?
Yeah, in the sense that we look at what is mission before Second Vatican Council, how people look at mission. Before Second Vatican Council, people look at mission as only meant for the priest, meant for the Western, the whites, does not concern the Africans, does not concern the Asians, does not concern any other person. It's just people coming from there to hear. Today, through this symposium, we want to make people to realize and understand that mission is for everyone. As far as we are baptized, then we are consecrated to be missionaries. So we go out. And I'm happy and proud to say that at least today, Africans, Asians now send missionaries out. It's no longer from European countries, from North America, but now it's vice versa. We share this message, this good news, salvation of souls, that everyone should. It's a mandate given to everyone. It's not a divided mandate that is for these particular people. So this symposium is really very important for every one of us.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Sister, for that. Indeed, we are all baptized and sent.
Yes.
Yeah, by virtue of being practicing Christians, and everyone can be a missionary in their own very capacity. Now, Ruki, I wonder if there is from what has been mentioned or what you expect to be covered, is there anything else that if probably incorporated into the theological symposium would add more value, particularly on issues affecting the youth?
Thank you so much. As Sister and Father has said, everyone by virtue of being baptized in the Catholic Church, you are a missionary. And we've had a number of occasions where the Pope has given the young people a platform to speak. And this has been always been through the World Youth Day, where the young people converge and listen to the Pope and the religious leaders from all these angles. And also at national level, regional level today, the church has given a platform for the youth. I'm glad to say that this symposium has looked through and found this need for the young people to also be given a platform to speak and also be part and parcel of the contribution towards change in the society. As Sister and Father has also said, it keenly following up because when you look today in the society, in the entire continent of Africa, the young people are suffering. It's not all about going to church. It's not all about sitting and listening to our religious leaders, but it is also mandatory for us, the young people, to also be part and contribute in different ways. Many young people undergo catechism, and catechism is done every day through Mass, through reading the Bible. Each and everyone is catechized in different ways. But are the young people really taking into consideration the teachings they're getting from the church? The answer is no, because many young people are not keen. And this symposium is bringing on board now the youth to be able to give what they feel is okay and to also get responses from the prominent speakers like Cardinal Robert Sarah, the Archbishop of Nairobi and the Archbishop of Kisumu, on what is expected of the young people. When you go back to your parishes, when you go back to your groupings, the small Christian groups you have in the different parishes and sub-parishes, what are you supposed to do? What is your role in the church? The challenges like secularism now today through music, through the YouTube videos, through TikTok and other forms of social media. How are you going to counter that, to come back to your sense and align with the Catholic teachings? I think when that is spoken out clearly during the symposium, it is going not only just to help the today's generation, but also to mold the tomorrow's priests, the tomorrow's nuns, the tomorrow's bishops, cardinals, and even the popes from Africa.
Exactly, thank you. Quite important in our times, and you mentioned secularization. I believe Father said that's going to be part of what will be addressed, the issues of secularization and religious fundamentalism. And this comes out quite clearly when we see the events that have been happening in the religious sphere. There's a lot of doomsday, cultic, false prophecies and doctrines that have been misleading. And most of the people who fall victim for this are the young people, actually. So now, as a youth, what do you think how will this theological symposium help address, particularly in the context of social cultural perspective?
Thank you so much. As Father mentioned, the professor, our good professor, who is going to talk about the different forms of religion and why the young people and the majority of the Christians need to be very keen on who to follow, which form of religious education to be able to be keenly following. The young people attending this kind of symposium, what I pick and I feel is very important is, the young people are very funny anyway, being a young person. We are living in a digital era where the young people feel in every aspect we have in place, either through a crusade or through a symposium, through a forum, through a conference, getting a very short, widespread, keen, and interesting message is very important. And referring to the question you have asked, I would like to take you back to what our good Cardinal, our good Pan-African, so to say, Cardinal Sarah, who has a very wide experience having served at the Vatican City in different positions, and now back in our region, coming down to Kenya, in the East African region, to talk to us. With that experience, and in the theological books he has also written, speaking about the different forms of teachings in the church that we, the Christians, the young people inclusive, need to follow, read and understand and practice as well. In addition to what our priests, our nuns and other religious leaders in our space speak to us through, and also in the small Christian groupings, the young people need to want to be challenged. That's a message sometimes we miss as young people, and also as researchers in different perspective, but also be challenged, because, as you mentioned, secularism and also fathers talked about is real, and not unless we are keen, the symposium will end, but there will be no impact. But once the young people identifies themselves, and that's why I call upon them to be present during that day, the 2 days symposium, to be able to pick out something from the speakers.
Thank you very much. Now, on that very vein, Father, we continue even with the efforts of missionaries and religions and the different religious leaders trying their best to lead the young people towards the right path. We are still witnessing horrific and horrendous tragedies in the name of religious and quote unquote. What is happening? Is it that we've got a gap or that we need to cover, or what is really happening? How best can we address this?
Well, thank you for that question. It is not easy to answer. You're asking me to find the causes of a particular problem. Maybe just to remind ourselves, the problems of occultism and the false religiosity existed even before Christianity. There were many false religious, dangerous, and false I mean dangerous for the person, for the family, for the community. And within Christianity it came. Unlike our days, because of the communication channels, young people have now better, easier, faster access to any of these. It is enough that you Google Illuminati, you'll get all about Illuminati or any other group, that the Freemason, etc. And they are curious, they want to find out, and they get trapped easily. So the scenario right now is, I would say, far worse than former times, though this was, it was always there, frequent. And the church in the ancient times would take action and declare this is a dangerous group, did not associate with it. And when the Christians and the Christian rulers were there, the political leaders also took steps to remove that from the society. Currently, with the openness to all religions, including dangerous ones, in many societies, as you know, in some countries, Satanism is official. You can have satanic temples, you can worship, and other countries are hesitant about those things. But the way the thing is moving, freedom for all, you are free, you are able to choose. So we are in a situation where you have to educate, teach, and direct the young people much more than the former times. And the group that is, according to me, should take greater responsibility are the parents of the children, then the primary teachers. The church is there to empower the parents, empower the families, so they do their job of forming, educating children. The best Catholic families have come out from good Catholic parents. They are the ones who taught them the basic things about faith, about prayer. And once you have that fear of the Lord inscribed in you as a young child, it is not easy for such a young person who was brought up in that to be drawn to this sect. But one who has no roots, or lost that roots, religious roots, because either the parents were not prepared or they themselves were lazy about their own faith. And so you see them growing up, as they say, the nuns, with neither there nor here. And so the church and all of us, all those who are listening, must see the importance of family, importance of parents, importance of the elders in the church and the ministers in the church to help the young people to grow in the right way.
Thank you, Father. I could see Sister Mary Jo nodding in concurrent upon mentioning parents. Perhaps when we come back from a break, you let us know about this role that they play, which is quite significant in molding upright people. Now, allow me to read some of the feedback. We've got Godwin Karenji, who says, my good friend, Reverend Father George Kocholiko, will nail it watching this space. Great. Thank you for watching, Godwin. We've got Teresia Njeri. She says she's tuning from the Nativity of Our Lord, Kagwe Parish. Thank you, Njeri. Ann James tuned in from Busia County. Say hi to the people of Busia, Ann James. Elijah Mwiti Munene watching from Rome. Oh, our regards to the people in the heart of the Catholic Church in Rome. So thank you very much, and we are taking a brief break, just a breather, and we'll be right back with more on this conversation. So do stay with us.
Hay dos palabras que cuando algunos hablan de enfermedades terminales, las confunden. Incurable e incuidable. Y no son lo mismo. Incluso cuando existan muy pocas posibilidades de curación, todos los enfermos tienen derecho al acompañamiento médico, al acompañamiento psicológico, al acompañamiento espiritual, al acompañamiento humano. A veces no pueden hablar, a veces pensamos que no nos conocen, pero si le tomamos la mano, entendemos que están en sintonía. No siempre se consigue la curación, pero siempre podemos cuidar al enfermo, acariciar al enfermo. San Juan Pablo II decía que curar sí es posible, cuidar siempre. Y aquí es donde entran los cuidados paliativos, que garantizan al paciente no solo la atención médica, sino también un acompañamiento humano y cercano. Las familias no pueden quedarse solas en esos momentos difíciles. Su papel es decisivo. Tienen que tener los medios adecuados para desarrollar el apoyo físico, el apoyo espiritual, el apoyo social. Oremos para que los enfermos terminales y sus familias reciban siempre los cuidados y el acompañamiento necesarios, tanto desde el punto de vista médico como humano.
All right, welcome back. We are glad you're still keeping tabs with us on this special edition with me, Sasha Elizabeth. We are looking into upcoming theological symposium at Tangaza University College here in Karen, Nairobi, which is slated for the 22nd and the 23rd day. It's going to be a two-day theological symposium at the Tangaza University College. And the theme, Make Disciples of All Nations, the missionary mandate of Christ in the religious, cultural, and social context of Africa today. Quite a thought-provoking theme right here, and we are moving on with the conversation. But first, there are those who are watching. Before I let you know, if you're just tuning in, we have Fifi Emushis following. Mike David following, John Wadoviso, all will be saved through various ways. But don't encourage people to remain in the way that passes through the swamp and mud where there is many obstacles. Better tell them of the safer ways of God, and that is through Jesus Christ. I bet my guest will concur with his sentiments. And Solomon Martin following from Philippines. Great. Thank you for your feedback, Solomon. I hope you enjoy. And we also have, I think I had mentioned Elijah Mwiti. So keep your feedback, your comments, your questions, anything you wish to know about this upcoming theological symposium. Just feel free to pose your questions. And of course, we have the right people, I'll tell you, to respond to your questions aptly. Now, just to remind you, in studio I have Father George Kocholiko, who is the head of department of the dogmatic department in the Tangaza University College. I have Sister Mary Joan Iwenofu, who is a lecturer also and in African theology, missiologist. And we also have Tobias Nauroki, who is the African Regional Coordinator of LifeSite News. And we move on with our conversation. Before we just went for a break, Sister, you had nodded in agreeing to the role of parents in just helping the young people as they grow up and molding them to be better people in the future.
Yes, the parents, they have a great role to play in helping in the faith formation of their children. Because everything is not in the school and should not be in the school. I remember one of the movies that is on now, and that's a Becky. I don't know whether you watch it. Recently, Jeff became sick, and the head of the school telling Becky and the junior, because they are the parents, but then they are staying differently. So the head of the school was telling them, in order to help Jeff, the parents must be involved. And therefore, the parents should come together again to help Jeff. that they don't do parenting in the school. So this parenting should be a duty that will involve holistically both that religious life, culturally, socially, spiritually. So the parents, they have great job to do. And in the Catholic Church, especially in Africa, we have the church as the domestic family, the domestic church. So the domestic church should not start in the school. The domestic church starts from the family. So the parents, they are the ones to tell them what and what. And then it's built up in the school. Yeah.
Thank you. And I always, whenever someone mentions the church and family, I remember the second symposium that was held sometime, was it last year or 2022? And the theme was the family as the domestic church. Encouraging families to be together, to work together closely, pray together, so that you do not relegate your duties and your roles as a parent or guardian to a religious leader or a teacher in school or wherever. Thank you very much for that, Sister. Now, Father, somebody would be asking, what should they expect in terms of the format of delivery of this theological symposium? Will they have rooms for question and answer? Are there going to be only presentations from the keynote speakers, or you will allow for reactions from the people who will be present?
Okay, thank you for that question. Of course, there are presentations, Cardinal Sarah on the theme. By the way, Cardinal Sarah is also going to talk about the theologian Pope, Benedict XVI, and his contribution on this theology of evangelization. That should be a very thought-provoking and illuminating talk. And there are others, as you see, lined up. After 2-3 talks, there are moments of panel discussion where those who gave the talk will discuss similar to this among themselves, and the Q&A, question and answer. Anybody from the forum would be given time, and we have assigned, I think, enough time for the panel discussion and the Q&A. So there would be interactions between those speakers and the listeners, the audience, as well as the speakers among themselves, which everybody is able to follow through the panel discussion. So it is going to be a very interactive section.
What interactive session that you wouldn't afford to miss, absolutely. And back to the youth, as a youth, how would you advise a youth to put into consideration in efforts to address the myriad challenges that plague them in these current times and era?
Okay, thank you so much. The young people have a responsibility. The way sisters said, parenting starts at the family level. This is another mentorship and molding stage where the young people ought to attend to be able to be molded, to know more about what the Catholic faith entails and what are the challenges that they may expect in their lifetime as they grow up. The young people also ought to be present and pick up the key sentiments. As Father has said, the young people have so many questions to ask. The young people have never had a session. The last session I've had with the young people, I remember, I was in Nigeria, where a sister comes from, in Lagos, and I was interacting with a number of the young people in a forum where different youth from different countries had attended. The young people have several questions, but some questions may not link to the challenges they're facing today. Challenges like drug and substance abuse, challenges like relationship today, challenges like handling issues at family level. Today, as we speak, many young people don't listen to their parents. There are some young people who parted ways as early as 18 years with their parents. They're living in seculation. So this is a time where now all these challenges the young people are facing are going to be addressed by the different speakers who are going to talk about different issues, both at the Catholic level, in the space where we are in now, and from the research, thoughtful, different illuminating talks that, as Father said, on different topics, also addressing drugs and substance use emanated also in social media, and how to utilize social media in evangelization, both speaking the truth and also challenging one another to grow in a holistic way. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Now, Ruki, allow me at this point to go back to Sister Mary Joanne, because whatever you do, you've got some expectations, some outcomes in the end, because you just do not do it for the sake of doing it. Sister, what are some of the anticipated outcomes of the symposium, particularly in fostering a greater commitment to the missionary mandate of Christ and the rightful missionary mandate, not this other one camouflaged by mushrooming preachers, self-proclaimed preachers?
Thank you for the question. We expect that by the end of this symposium, whoever that has attended, we understand the theme, which is make disciples of all nations. And make disciples of all nations expected that the elements of mission will be exposed. And what are these elements of mission? Which was not there before Second Vatican Council. Today, we can interact. That's what we call interreligious dialogue. That whoever that comes, especially the Catholics, that the church has noticed that there are rays of truth in other religions. And this will help them with mutual interaction, relationship. Then we have the ecumenism, that now we can interact. We can come together to discuss. And of course, with the justice, the pursuit of justice. So mission is not only going to preach, but then we have all this. The liturgy, the prayer, the contemplation, all these are the components, the elements of mission, that by the end of this symposium, people will be more equipped, and people will not be will be free to communicate with other religions. That we are one. Muslim, Hindus, the Hindus, the other religions, Buddhist, and then like AIC, so that we are free. But at the same time, we know where we began. We know our roots. Yeah.
We are able to trust them,
yes,
where necessary. Absolutely, I couldn't have put it any better. But even that said, usually this is a theological symposium, and I believe I've encountered people, whenever you mention theology, it's the religious that comes in their mind. It's the religious men and women. So at this point, I wish to invite Father just to shed some more light on this. How can individuals who are interested in theology, regardless of their background, regardless of whether they are religious or belong to the laity community, participate and benefit from this symposium?
First of all, what I want to say, yes, there is this mentality that theology is meant for priestly training, and yes, because that is what people have seen. But every Christian does some sort of theology. What is theology? Giving explanation to what they believe. They try to explain to somebody, ask a question, this is what we do, this is what. So everyone does forms of theology in their life, because they have questions and they are asking those questions and answering. Even if they are not talking about it, it is there. They are going, thinking, and you go for a mass on a Sunday, they hear, what is that? What is that? And they begin to converse with themselves or with others. So theology is done by everybody, only not formal, but informal. So lay people, lay faithful, young people, when they hear these great minds talking and they understand they would be able to ask further questions, and maybe a greater interest will be ignited in their hearts to study. Not necessarily theology, but study, for example, the Word of God. Study, for example, the Catechism of the Catholic Church. Study the lives of the saints, the books of spirituality. You don't have to do a formal theological courses where many subjects are studied, but you can do a study of the scriptures. The lay faithful, which I run an online program for the lay faithful. There are over 50 who participate on this online program, because I see they have an interest to understand the Word of God. There was a time when I was a parish, which one of the parishes here, let me not mention but the name of the parish, but I realized some of my Catholics were going to one of the other churches who were running a Bible study program, simply because there was no Bible study program in the Catholic Church. So I started the Catholic Bible study program. So I had a lot of people to study the Bible. It is not theology, it's just taking through the Word of God. Take the Catechism of the Catholic Church. I know programs, very good programs, not so much here, but run in the States. They call it Journey in Christ program. And you are taken through the Catechism of the Catholic Church. It's a rich book with a great treasure. So you are not doing formal theology, but if you undertake a program of studying regularly the Word of God, or regularly the Catechism of the Catholic Church, regularly, you are prepared, you are empowered to form your children, your brothers and sisters, and also your own soul. Your soul is longing for food, the spiritual food. And often the parishes, you are not able to be fully satisfied because the time is limited and there are many other concerns the parish priest has. So I hope the people who participate, somehow they would now have a greater interest in the many programs that are available to deepen your knowledge of the Word of God, the scriptures, the lives of the saints. You know, the Catholic Church is very rich. People don't know. Okay, when they think about the riches, they think about the buildings and the money. I'm not talking about that riches. I'm talking about the spiritual riches, which many people are not aware. So take up the challenge. Listen to that voice which tells you, deepen your knowledge of me, deepen your love for me, deepen your commitment to me. Follow it and you will see wonders.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for that, Father George Kocholiko. Now, as he has explained quite in-depthly, theology, I believe even our one of our own, when he was posting this poster for this program special segment, he tried to explain on our Facebook platform what theology is all about. I believe when you visit that just a little bit 4 hours earlier, you will be able to glean, and definitely as you read through the definition, you will place yourself at the center. You just understand what Father George Kocholiko has just explained, and know that you are not excluded in matters or discourses revolving around theology. Now, sister, let me get, before I get back to you, let me hear from Nauruki, what really attracts you to the Theological Symposium, especially for those who are not religious, they're young people and they feel like there's no way I can draw a correlation between the Theological Symposium and myself.
Thank you so much. I would like to relate to the successful countries today in the world are rooted on the teachings of the church, either Muslim countries that are focusing on preserving their Muslim teachings, or the Catholic Church teachings on the Catholic perspective, and any other religion. So I'm attracted to attend, participate, and also speak in this symposium because I'm yearning to learn. I'm yearning to get the information that I've never had it before anywhere. And when you look around and fact track the different countries, I can mention a few in Kenya. Rwanda, Uganda, and many other countries in Africa who are rooted on religious teachings. Countries that observe the teachings of the church, the teachings of their different religious background, those countries are successful. And that's why now this symposium coming at this time to evangelize and open our minds that look, the many things we've been imagining in our life, that those that we don't know. And these issues we've been asking ourselves, the challenges the young people have gone through, the challenges the different Christian professionals have gone through, they are here. And these are the speakers we're going to talk about. And these are the solutions we need to abide by ABCD and follow Christ, who called us to make disciples at all times in every country.
Now, Ruki, for that. Now you've got the message from him. In case you still had some little bit of doubts, you've had it from a youth, the mister in the studio. Great. So, sister, there could be those young girls who are looking forward to join religious life. What message do you have to tell them, especially on interacting or participating in such forums?
The message is that they should be focused. Mm-hmm. And the first thing is to try to find meaning in life. By attending this symposium, it will help them to know where religious life has started, mm-hmm. the roots of religious life, and where it will lead them. And knowing that religious life is a divine gift to the church and a gift to each religious. And therefore, the religious has to really treasure the vocation. And the girl outside there should be honest to herself and to know exactly what she wants, if really God is calling her. And that discernment is also very important. Mm-hmm. That from this symposium, as she listens, she will find out whether really God is calling her to be a religious, mm-hmm. to serve God with pure heart, to be honest and sincere to God and to herself.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Sister Mary Joan. And I know there are those who feel the call to respond to this. I believe in as much we say we are all baptized and sent, there are those who receive this call to serve God in that capacity as a religious sister or nun, or as a priest, or even a religious brother, because the congregation like the Capuchins, they've got the religious priest and the brothers who just live that life as brothers and retain their identity in that specific Catholic congregation. Now, Tangaza University College has a history, a rich history and identity that it's always defines it as unique. And I know they are the organizer of this symposium, so it wouldn't sound very fair for us to conclude our conversation without speaking about them. I think the history of their identity dates back decades. 1986, right?
1986.
Great. So how does this history and uniqueness contribute to the unique perspective of this theological symposium, which will be held this month?
Yeah, I think I'm well placed to speak about Tangaza College because I started as a student there in 1986. I studied at Tangaza as a small young man. And then I did my licentiate and came and taught at Tangaza. I was also, anyway, talking about Tangaza.
There's quite a lot.
Yes, I can speak about the light and shadows of Tangaza. But people don't want me to talk about too much about the shadows, so I may speak about the light.
Just focus on the light.
The light at Tangaza, it was founded by the mission-sending congregations, I already implied, because they wanted their candidates to be formed as good missionaries here in Africa. Because, like you see me, I am not born in Africa. But I came as a young person. So they decided to train us here in Africa to be missionaries here in Africa. And our generation basically moved out. Now it is all majority. Still there are foreigners, people from other countries. 99% would be from Africa, students. But they are preparing to be missionaries to other countries in Africa, or many of them are outside Africa today. Because whenever I travel, I travel quite a bit around. I travel in Europe. Father, how are you? I ask, who is this? How do you know me? Oh, we taught me Tangaza. The same in the US. I have met quite a few in the US, priests serving in the parishes, churches, institutions. In, of course, Africa, they are widespread. So, and they are missionaries. They are missionaries. They are bringing the gospel of Christ to their brothers and sisters. So Tangaza has this unique history of being a college, a theological college, which formed missionaries generations after generations. So we don't want to lose that perspective of mission sending, be carried away with strange ideologies which ultimately will destroy the mission, though they are talking about the mission. Mission. For a simple example, talk about dialogue. There is a document from I think it was from the Pontifical Council for Culture and Interreligious Dialogue on dialogue and proclamation. And there it clarifies bad forms of dialogue. Dialogue simply for the mere peaceful coexistence, that is political dialogue. That is what the diplomats should do. But as theologians, our dialogue is on another aspect, which is the aspect of God. Anyway, so these are the things that Tangaza to stand for and continue to form missionaries, people capable of dialoguing rightly, people capable of entering into relationship with all people, but in the heart of heart, they are caught up with the fire for Christ, for His gospel, for the message. If St. Peter said, there is no salvation outside any other name except the name of Jesus, it was true for him, it must be also true for us. And St. Paul saying, I don't think preaching the gospel is something that I need to boast about. A burden, a heavy responsibility has been placed onto me. Woe to me if I don't preach the gospel. This is what we have to pick up. Woe to me if I don't preach the gospel.
Woe to you if you do not preach the gospel. Wow, what a phrase to behold. Because, everyone is somehow, we are just programmed to fear anything that is woe unto you. You're like, oh my God, what is it that's going to befall me? But that is a message that is well put. Or someone is asking, may I be one of the learners at Tangaza University? I bet, Father, in a second.
Yes,
can you advise that person?
Different courses that are offered, not only theology, there are social sciences, there is education, communication. So it is a question of you can check the website of Tangaza and see what the courses are available, and then follow the procedure for joining the college. Yes, it's possible.
We have a seminarian, Philip Sitek, who says, I am a seminarian, Philip, and I'm really grateful for the good conversation. Great, and I believe my guests are also happy that you are sending in your feedbacks and you're getting the message, not just to shelve it wherever you are, but to promulgate it to others, to the rest of the people. Tell them, remind them, the day is 22nd and 23rd at Tangaza University College. We'll be having virtual audience, right, Father?
Yeah, some will be virtual. We are given the Zoom link, Zoom, so it will be it will be available over Zoom.
Great.
Yes.
So we'll be having virtual and, of course, physical audience. I hope that will cover the youth, right? Appropriately. Oh, great. So now, before we wrap up, we need to just give an opportunity to our speakers today to give us their parting shot, and this is going to be in the form of we've got also Irene Metho, who says she is following from Machakos Diocese. Irene, our regards to the people of Machakos. Is it Masaku, the people of Masaku? So as we wind up, I'd like to give you a few seconds. You give your parting shots with inspiring expectations to the one who is watching. You can anchor your message on what would be the potential, like what should the people look forward to this year's Theological Symposium? Just give them that punchline. And I'll start from my far right with Nauruki.
Thank you so much. For one to succeed, you learn from other people. I always pick this sentiment from my mentors. To the young people, this symposium is for us. It is for us. It has come the right time. Let us go forth, listen, and be able to pick the most important message to replicate to the others. Because you are here today because someone gave you a chance to live. Take care of yourself, but also extend that chance to others to come and learn and express the same gratitude to the many people who are looking after you to be the best person in the world. Lastly, a message to the young people as well. We are who we are today because the priests, the pastors, and the imams speak to us in different spaces in the religious groupings. This is the right time to now again use the same opportunity to come and listen to the great speakers we have in place and be able to change our perception towards growth and change on the many challenges we are going through.
Thank you very much, Tobias Nauruki. And right now, let me give Sister an opportunity to speak to the person who is watching us in regards to our upcoming Theological Symposium 2024.
Yeah, it is my pleasure to be here and my pleasure to invite everyone to come for this symposium. It's a very important event, especially in the life of the church in Africa, in East Africa, and particularly in Kenya, and in a special way in Nairobi, that we are all invited. We always hear people saying that every day we learn. You are not going to miss anything, but you are going to gain. So it will be a joy to see a lot of you flocking to Tangaza University College on 22nd February and the 23rd February. You are all welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, sister. It is a month, they say February is a month of love. So
yes,
there wouldn't be any best way for Tangaza University College to extend their love than to increase somebody's knowledge, because they say knowledge is power. Great. And Father, as you give your parting shot, please speak to that person probably who is not Catholic. Somebody might think it's just a symposium meant for Catholics. Does it cut across the different Christian denominations? Do those people who belong to other credences or faiths stand to benefit by participating or following this theological symposium?
Yes, as you said, knowledge is power. Mm-hmm. When we acquire power, acquire knowledge, we are empowered. So even if you are not a Catholic, but you are a person who seeks the truth. In all of us, God has planted a desire to know the truth and hold firm to the truth. All of us, whether we admit it or not, we want to be told the truth, and we don't appreciate when people lie to us. So, meaning we are meant to hear the truth. So, you will listen And the Spirit within you will inspire you. It will give you insight into what you are listening, hearing. And certainly you will profit in God's own mysterious ways. After all, God has created you in His image and likeness. You have been created with that aptitude and the qualities necessary to seek the truth, to recognize the truth, to hold on to the truth, and follow the truth. Come and listen. Karibu.
Asante. Let me accept the welcome. The welcoming. Great. Thank you very much. Allow me to start by appreciating Tangaza University College for organizing this. Particularly the School of Theology. And of course, I would like to appreciate you, the three of you who have really created your time, I understand, on a Friday afternoon to be in a sort of conversation in the studio. It's not the best way someone would choose to spend the afternoon, but I appreciate you. Reverend Father Kocholiko George, we work with you closely and we appreciate the efforts you are fixed towards the mission of evangelization. And we have Sister Iwenofu. Great. I think I got it right. Thank you very much for taking time. And we hope this won't be the last. It's the first, but you are welcome for subsequent conversations and input. We really appreciate your time. Yeah. Now, Ruki Tobias, thank you for coordinating all the elements, because I think you have been the contact person linking us with the father and sister. So we really appreciate the dedication that you've got, and all the best in this mission. Great. And I appreciate you, dear viewer, for your time and for following up. And we reiterate that do not shelve this, do not keep it to yourself. Pass the word across, save the date and the time, 22nd and 23rd of this month of February. It will be on a Thursday and Friday, where at the Tangaza University College in Karen, Nairobi. And as usual, I never do this alone. I have a team, an indomitable team that works behind the scenes to make sure that we bring you this live conversation in the best way possible, because it is a teamwork. So I've got Joel Mbugwa on the visual mixing. Thank you very much. That is on the other side of the gallery. We also have Eric Otieno on the sound desk, and then we have Peter Mwangi on transmission, and right here in the studio I have a gentleman, Charles Mavaton. Thank you for your adeptness. Manning 3 cameras at the same time isn't something you can just speak about, so thank you, and we appreciate all your efforts. Before I close this, one important quote is that in the search for understanding, we may find unity in diversity, and in dialogue we may be guided by compassion and respect for one another's beliefs. I'm always attracted to this American futurist who once said that the illiterate of the 21st centuries will not be the ones who cannot read or write, but rather the ones who cannot learn and learn and relearn what they already know. So Tangaza University College provides you an opportunity to learn and relearn more about this theology. My name is Captain Sasha. I wish you a great weekend. Goodbye.
Tangaza University College invites you to a theological symposium which will be held on 22nd to 23rd February 2024, starting from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m.
We are going to talk about the missionary mandate of Christ. You might recall that Jesus, before he ascended into heaven, he told the 12, go all over the world, teach, baptize, make disciples of all nations.
We as the students who have been prepared to become a priest in the future, we are supposed to attend this symposium to see and to listen the church, our mother church, the view of the world and the view of the Church of Africa, so that we can become a good priest and a future priest.
You heard about the Shakahola tragedy, where many people lost their lives, and the church has to respond. How to evangelize when our people are drawn by cultic groups and some of them even losing their life? We are going to listen to great speakers. The most important speaker is His Eminence, Cardinal Robert Sarah from West Africa, he has been the prefect on the Congregation for Divine Worship and the Discipline of the Sacraments for 6 years. We will also listen to other speakers. Archbishop Muhatia Makumba of Kisumu Diocese, Archbishop from Nairobi, Philip Anyolo, Professor Father Majava, who was the Dean of the School of Theology in University of the Catholic University. You will hear Speaker Mary Mukami from Strathmore and many others.
You are supposed to be in this symposium so that we think with the church together as an African and also as the whole world. You are welcome. Thank you.
This event will be live here on Capuchin TV and on our social media platforms. Keep watching Capuchin TV, your Catholic identity channel.
Kwaresma ni kipindi cha siku 40 kinachoanza na Jumatano ya Majivu na kukamilika Alhamisi Kuu. Kwenye kipindi hiki, Kanisa Katoliki lina nguzo 4 zinazopewa kipaumbele katika maisha ya waumini, ambayo ni kusali, kufanya kitubio, kufunga au kujinyima na kuboresha ukarimu. Kama njia moja ya kuboresha mafunzo zaidi kuhusu kipindi hiki, Baraza la Maaskofu Katoliki hapa nchini hutoa mwongozo maalum kila mwaka ambao una mada tofauti tofauti. Mwaka huu, ujumbe mkuu kwa kampeni ya Kwaresma ni uadilifu kwa taifa lenye haki. Mada hii hugawanywa katika wiki 5 na kila wiki ina tafakari yake. Ili kufahamisha zaidi kuhusu mada kuu ya mwongozo na kampeni ya Kwaresma, runinga ya Capuchin inakuletea uchambuzi wa mada hiyo kila wiki kwenye makala ya dhamana ya haki na Arbe Bonaya. Ni hapa tu kwenye runinga ya Capuchin, kitambulisho chako Katoliki.
Lakini hata sasa asema Bwana, nirudieni mimi kwa mioyo yenu yote.
Kwaresma ni kipindi cha toba, kufunga, kusali, kutafakari na matendo ya huruma. Baada ya uzinduzi wa kampeni ya Kwaresma na Baraza la Maaskofu hapa nchini KCCB katika jimbo Katoliki la Embu Ijumaa iliyopita, sasa ni zamu ya jimbo kuu Katoliki la Nairobi. Uzinduzi huu utafanyika Jumamosi tarehe 17 Februari mwaka huu katika parokia Mtakatifu Monica Njiru kwenye jimbo Katoliki la Nairobi. Maadhimisho hayo yataanza saa 2 asubuhi na msafara na upandaji mti ukifuata. Nayo ibada ya misa itakuwa saa 4 asubuhi. Kiongozi wa ibada atakuwa Mwashamu Philip Anyolo wa jimbo kuu la Nairobi. Ibada hii ya misa itakufikia moja kwa moja katika runinga ya Capuchin TV na kwenye mitandao yetu ya kijamii. Capuchin TV inawatakia Wakristo wote heri ya Kwaresma. Mungu aendelee kuwajalia neema na baraka tele katika safari hii. Endelea kutazama Capuchin TV, kitambulisho Katoliki.
Lakini hata sasa asema Bwana, nirudieni mimi kwa mioyo yenu yote.
Bishop Alfred Kipkoech Arap Rotich was born on 27th July 1957 in Longisa, Bomet County, in the Catholic Diocese of Kericho. Responding to God's call, he was ordained a priest on 18th November 1993 in Nakuru Diocese. On 9th March 1996, he was appointed the Auxiliary Bishop of Nairobi. On August 29, 1997, he was appointed Bishop of the Military Ordinariate, where he served as a military chaplain following a year of service as an auxiliary bishop. On December 14, 2019, 3 years after leaving the military, he was appointed Bishop of Kericho. Bishop Alfred Kipkoech Arap Rotich. 4 years ago, on February 15, 2020, you were installed as the Bishop of Kericho. Congratulations on your anniversary. Your unwavering dedication to faith, compassion, and service is truly inspiring. May your journey be filled with blessings, wisdom, and abundant graces. Happy 4th anniversary of your installation as the 3rd Bishop of the Catholic Diocese of Kericho.
God be with you till we meet again.
It is with humble acceptance of God's will that we announce the death of Mzee Joachim Namasaka Muchonji, that to Sister Basilisa Nabikoy, the Secretary General of AUSK. He was born in the year 1926. The funeral mass will take place this Saturday, 17th February, TZ